the shooting range. In this episode, pages of history, tank ambushes and their efficiency. Squadmates, disembarking in updated Normandy. And Metal Beast's legendary helicopter. If you ask someone not too familiar with aircraft to draw a helicopter, chances are they're going to give you a rounded fuselage with a long tail boom, a large rotor on top, and a small one in the rear. It might have something to do with the fact that this is what the most mass-produced helicopter in history looks like. If we include all modifications, a total of 17,000 of these machines have been taking off to the skies to complete all kinds of missions across the world. Today's Metal Beast is a combat version of the legendary Soviet multi-role helicopter, the Mi-8. This aircraft has a classic layout including a single main and a single tail rotor. The power plant consists of 2 turboshaft engines. Self-sealing fuel tanks are found in the upper part of the fuselage and on the sides of the cargo hold. A large caliber machine gun is mounted in the nose while the hard points are reserved for rockets, conventional bombs, and ATGMs. The Mi-8 can't really boast high combat performance. It's primarily a transport aircraft, after all. Still, the vehicle did set a few records in our game. First, this chopper has the largest main rotor in War Thunder, with a diameter exceeding 21 meters. Second, it's the only helicopter capable of taking off with up to 2 tons of bombs or up to 192 rockets. Does it help this aircraft in battle? Well, not that much, to be real. Targeting moving vehicles with bombs using a helicopter with no ballistic computer is a hefty task. It's more of a challenge than a real tactic. Using rockets is much simpler. Besides, the ammo pool is large enough to have a few ranging shots, or even volleys. Still, the Mi-8 isn't the best aircraft for this type of exercise. Its modest maneuverability doesn't help at ultra-low altitudes, and the large profile is certain to attract just about every ground vehicle in the vicinity. Some of the enemies might ignore it owing to their respect for the legend, but most players would still fire at it. Basically, the only weapon the Mi-8 can use effectively is the anti-tank missiles. The Soviet version can carry up to 4 Falanga ATGMs, which have a decent range and a good speed for such a low battle rating. Don't expect to get a tank with each missile, but you can still score more than a single vehicle in a single fight. The German Mi-8 is armed with the Malyutka ATGMs. They have inferior performance, but come in larger numbers, up to 6 units. Of course, the Mi-8 is far from a supercharged attack helicopter. On the other hand, though, its competitors can't boast anything impressive either. There's one thing we can't deny: its historical significance. We're happy that this legendary machine is now available to every War Thunder player. It was early October 1941. The Wehrmacht began its Operation Typhoon, surrounding the Soviet forces south of Moscow and pushing heavily for the capital itself. That dire situation saw the debut of the 4th Tank Brigade, headed by Mikhail Katukov, a colonel at the time but later a famous commander and a marshal. The fight that took place on October 6th was widely used as a showcase for tank ambushes after the war. The tactic became widespread and sometimes even used unreasonably. It implied using entrenched tanks, but was that the sole major factor in that battle? First, we need to note that Katukov wasn't alone. His troops were aided by Bondarev's 11th Tank Brigade, soldiers, anti-tank units, paratroopers, and strike aviation. The opposing forces included the 4th Tank Division supported by the Luftwaffe and various artillery. The Germans had 58 combat-worthy tanks, while Katukov and Bondarev had 12 KVs, 42 T-34s, and even more light BT and T-26 tanks. The battle took place along the road to the cities of Mtsensk and Tula. The 4th Brigade entrenched at the heights next to the road, found the ranges, and even had enough time to dig fake trenches. The 11th Brigade positioned a part of its forces at the northwest, ready to attack the left flank of the approaching German forces. It proved to be the right decision. In the morning of October 6th, the Germans crossed the nearby river with artillery support. Their panzers passed Kachakov's positions, leaving them for the infantry, and met the entrenched 4th Tank Brigade. Here goes the 1st German tank. Two 88mm anti-aircraft guns join the fight, but not for long. Both are soon taken out. Still, the Germans slowly found a way to pierce through the defenses, mostly thanks to artillery. And at that crucial moment, Bondarev's T-34s crossed the very same river and flanked the German forces. A few panzers caught fire at once. In response, the artillery began to fire directly at the Soviet tanks. For the first time in a long time, the Germans were ordered to retreat. Bondarev's armor shot and smashed numerous guns, took out a total of 11 tanks, and managed to cause a novel feeling of confusion among the Germans. Katakov's forces, though, didn't support the advance. He doesn't even mention this counterattack in his memoirs. Who knows how this battle would have ended had the Soviet forces acted in coordination, picking the right time and place for both the ambush and the counterattack? Had they imposed their own game as the 11th Tank Brigade did? That and a few more skirmishes that happened between the 9th and the 11th of October near Mtsensk won the Soviet Union a little time and slowed the German offensive. The Soviet army managed to slow the German typhoon for a while. In our roadmap video, we've already told you about the changes we introduced into many ground maps. Today, our squad mates will check out the updated Normandy map and demonstrate some new tactics. The reworked map became more symmetrical, so both teams can use the hints we're going to share. Let's pick the Western team for this video. In Scenario 1, both squad mates should spawn on the northern point. Head towards the shore right away. Once you get to the intersection with the inner ring road, one of you should turn right and stop at the end of the street, before the main square. This place offers you a view of almost the entire area around Point B. The other player should move towards the monument and find a good position near it. If the enemy is already there, focus on them first. Control over the monument area is your main priority. Once that's done, all you need to do is to use crossfire to clear the town center and move to capture. The best camping position is around the corner of the church. It provides both shelter and firing lines at two approaches, one from the east, another one from the south where Point C is located. This is how just two players can control all roads leading to the map center. Still, capping one point is only half the business. Point C is too far from the town center, so it would be easier to focus on the beach point instead. Swap positions. One player that sat next to the church can move towards the monument to cover the second one, while they drive down to the beach and paint Point A with their team's color. Well, we need to admit it's basically the same tactic, with the only difference being the location of Point A. The southern part of the map, however, underwent much bigger changes, and now we'd like to show you an updated tactic for it. Both players should spawn on the southern point and split up, with one taking the bypass road to square G3 and another one following map line E. By enveloping Point C, you reserve the ability to use crossfire and help each other in a timely manner. You'll also have an advantage in any fight as long as you exchange information on time. Continue the advance towards the enemy territory until the capture area is between you. The southern player should clear up the approaches, drive towards the point, and take it. Meanwhile, the other player should wait for them near the vertical road, the one that leads to the town center. Your next target is Point B. One tanker should follow the vertical road to it, while the other one should follow the parallel road on the enemy side and turn right. With this maneuver, you should be able to deliver a back blow to enemy tanks in the center. Remember that in a tight urban environment, it's extra important to exchange intel on enemy machines and where they're looking. Once Point B is yours, go to the familiar monument and church positions. You might also need to cap the beach point, like in Scenario 1. Don't forget to share your impressions of the updated maps and new tactical ideas. Meanwhile, it's time for us to answer some of your questions. The first question was sent by a player called the 23rd Radio Tower. Hey War Thunder, I have enough SL for M19A1, Jumbo, or M18 Hellcat. Which should I get? Hi there, Radio Tower. Well, with this kind of limit, we'd be choosing between the Jumbo and the M18. Anti-aircraft guns are support machines after all, so we recommend you purchase the M19 last. As for the tanks, your choice depends on your preferred playstyle. The M18 is better for flanking and subversive action, while the Jumbo is better for frontal attacks. Hawaiian Ball asks, when can we get the USS Texas? Hello! We don't usually spoil new vehicles in the shooting range because we want you to enjoy the surprise. But your question, we can answer. The USS Texas is already available in War Thunder. Test it and tell us how you like it, deal? Another question comes from the Bulgarian. Are there any Bulgarian tanks or planes? Zdravite! War Thunder has no Bulgarian vehicles at the moment, but we can offer you unique camos for some Su-25s. MXZ writes, I was only around 1,000 RP away from unlocking the T-25, and this Scherching Permin stuck in my way, so now I have to spend more time researching it. Hi there. We're sorry to hear that. To prevent this, we always show the new vehicles during our official streams and unlock dev servers for everyone in advance. The last stage of protection is a special warning right in the research window that a new vehicle line will be added soon. It's up for 2 weeks before an update, reminding you to unlock and purchase a vehicle. And the last comment for today was written by M-Man. What's the earliest fire and forget missile AA vehicle? Hey M-Man! The earliest fire and forget missiles are found at 9.3. It's the American Chaparral, the Soviet Strela 10M2, the Japanese Type 93, the Chinese PGZ-04A, the French Santal, and the Israeli Machbet. That's it for today. You've been watching The Shooting Range by Gaijin Entertainment, and the next episode will premiere the following Sunday at 4 p.m. GMT or noon Eastern Time. Subscribe and click the bell if you don't want to miss our next videos. Don't forget to check out those trees in a storm, leave a like, share your thoughts and comments, and see you next week.